What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Daniel, and welcome back to another video. We got a lot of Adam Stern bombs that did drop today. Jimmie Johnson is going to be testing an IndyCar with Chip Ganassi later this year that we'll talk about. And we're also going to talk about the choose cone being implemented at this year's All-Star race. So let's just jump straight into it. We're going to start off all the Adam Stern bombs. Watkins International is in discussions with Cuomo's administration about trying to get a waiver for August for the NASCAR industry regarding 2-week quarantine rule that includes North Carolina per sources. Cuomo did grant one to Mets and Yankees players coming back from Florida. I think they're probably going to give them that waiver, to be quite honest with you. NBC Sports for this weekend's NASCAR IndyCar doubleheader will have its IndyCar staff at IMS, while its NASCAR talent will call the series action from hundreds of miles away at Charlotte. This is reduced travel during the pandemic. I think it makes sense. Now on to the TV ratings. NASCAR's TV ratings have not shown any effect, negative or positive, so far since the Confederate flag ban, per John Alrand at Sports Business Journal. That kind of shocks me, to be honest with you, considering the fact that I thought we'd lose a lot more fans. Hey, that's a good thing that, in a positive or negative light, that's a good thing that nothing really has changed. The Rainier Brothers Racing is going to be managing the number 93 Xfinity Series car for Ryan Sieg's Racing's organization. My Center will still be the driver of the 93, while Jeff Green will be the crew chief of that organization. This will allow Ryan Sieg Racing's organization to just focus on the number 39 team as they try to fight for a possible championship in 2020, and the number 38 team. And now here's another note. The number 38 car will not be attempting more races in the 2020 season, which is a great shame, but I think it makes sense because you want to focus on that number 39 team, because they're an opportunist team to make the playoffs. While that 38 team is kind of starting park, which sucks. We're not going to see more starting parks from that organization, but that really, really sucks. Now on to the next story. Preston Pardus, who is the son of Dan Pardus, is going to be running the Indianapolis Road Course race later on the 4th of July for the Xfinity Series when they race there. He will drive the number 36 DGM car for that organization later this year. And now we get into the big stories. Brad Keselowski has still not received the contract extension offer from Team Penske as of late last week per sources. However, some people close to the team think that sides could still eventually strike a deal, though Roger Penske may try to negotiate new terms first. Very intriguing there and very interesting because, to be quite honest with you, there's two options for Brad Keselowski right now. The option one is to stay at the 2 organization and continue to be with that team, help build that organization around kind of a young team, even though Ryan Blaney's kind of older, and you could have Joey Logano, who's 30 years old, so not really the case. Or the other option for Brad is to go to the 48 organization and take that car and maybe switch it to number 25 so you can maybe possibly remove that 48 logo and kind of help a young team of Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, and William Byron, who all are planning on remaining at that team for the 2021 season. Now, personally, I think Brad is still not going to be staying at the 2 organization. I think he's still going to the 48 team. Remember, they have had tension in the past with his teammates like Logano and Blaney. He's had tension with those guys in the past. And another major reason is that you could do some moving around. So Brad goes to 48 team. Who takes the 2 car? The 2 drivers we're looking at are Austin Cindric and Matt DiBenedetto. Now, most likely what will happen, and I'm going to change kind of how I did for the silly season predictions, I think that Matt DiBenedetto is going to go to the 2 car, and Austin Cindric, I think, is going to go to that 21 car. So Austin Cindric can get some development at the Wood Brothers team. Now, why would he go to the 21 instead of the 2? Because Austin Cindric, his team that he would go to, which is Wood Brothers, is a Penske development team, while Matt DiBenedetto, he is part of the Penske stable. He could take over the 2 team, plus Matt DiBenedetto, I think, deserves a top-tier ride. While the 21 car, I think, is a solid team, I don't think they're a top-tier organization. If you put the Matt DiBenedetto in a 2 car, if Brad goes to 48, I think they would make a lot of sense for them to put him in the 2. I think Matt would be capable of possibly even having a shot to win the championship. That team is really good. I think Jerry Bullins is honestly a solid crew chief, and I think he's done a good job with Brad this year. They've been top 5 speed pretty much most of the year. I think that would be a smart choice in my opinion. Like I said, I still think Brad is going to end up going over to the 48 car next year. On to the next story. Jimmie Johnson is going to be testing a Ganassi IndyCar. Yes, you heard it here. On July 8th at the Indianapolis Road Course on July 8th, Wednesday. What really is intriguing is I originally thought that there was a good chance that Jimmie Johnson would just be going to the McLaren SMP organization to go there for 2021 and maybe run some with Hendrick next year in a couple races. And that still is a possibility. But now here's something very interesting to know. Jimmie Johnson, if he does possibly go over to the Ganassi organization to run those Indy cars, there is a really good chance that he could possibly run with Chip Ganassi in the Cup Series. Probably not in the main organization unless they decide to get a third car, possibly that maybe like taking the number 77 car, which I think the number 77 car would be the car he'd go to if he does run for Chip Ganassi, because he has said he does want to run at least a couple Cup Series races next year. His goal in general is to run 20 races altogether next year. But he doesn't want to run 36 full race next year. That's one of the reasons why Jimmie Johnson doesn't want to run all those races. It's very tiring. He wants to spend more time with his family, and he doesn't want to completely focus on that driving a car every single week. It would get really, really boring for him, to be quite honest. So I think it'd just get tiring for him. I think he still wants to race next year, but he doesn't want to run the full schedule. So like I mentioned here, I think likely he will still go to the Arrow McLaren Schmidt-Peterson organization, but if he does go to Chip Ganassi Racing next year, which that would be a really cool. Imagine Scott Dixon and Jimmie Johnson on the same team for multiple races next year. And especially like Marcus Ericsson, I think is really talented in the IndyCar series, and Felix Rosenqvist. Ooh, you're going to get a very top-tier organization, especially if Jimmie Johnson decides the possibility of running the Indianapolis 500. Now, it's not out of question if he's going to run that next year or not, if he does go full-time at IndyCar next year. Not full-time IndyCar. Goes a partial effort, maybe with Chip Ganassi, but he still is looking more likely that he'll go to Schmidt-Peterson, the Arrow McLaren Schmidt-Peterson, whatever that team's name is. That could be where he goes. I think those are two options for the IndyCar series that he could be running. I'm glad he is testing, and maybe they'll hire him at Chip Ganassi and shock us. And now we get into the final story, and this is something that we've been waiting on to hear. The choose cone. NASCAR is going to be using the choose cone rule for the All-Star race at Bristol. Sources told The Athletic's Jordan Bianchi. To be quite honest with you, I am beyond excited about this because I've been looked up what the choose cone is. Let me explain the choose cone to everyone for you. So on the restarts, usually the leader is the only one who can choose their lane. So if the leader chooses the inside, the second place car goes to the inside. Now, with the choose cone rule, which will be used, the leader gets to choose where they restart, and second place gets to choose. So there'll be a cone in the middle of the front stretch, probably, that will be set there, and that is where you will restart. What this will also do is give possibility of track position being a key factor. Because if one guy decides who's in 10th, who's on row number 5, they could go straight up to the front row. Now, they do use this in short tracks, and they use these on the dirt ovals, and gives possibly an advantage to the guy on the front row who is going to be on the bottom. You're most likely are for this race, you're probably going to see a lot of drivers go up to the Highland because on the restarts, I think the outside lane is the advantage on the restarts compared to the inside lane. Because the choose cone, in my opinion, I think is good. I don't think it should be or go to every racetrack. I'm talking about like Atlanta, I think needs a choose cone in my opinion. I think Texas needs one. I think Darlington especially needs one. Because I want to see guys who are really fast. Because Jimmie Johnson at Bristol is a perfect example. Jimmie Johnson had the car that could have honestly won that race. He could have driven up there and won the thing. But every restart, he kept getting trapped in a bad position. I think he ended up finishing, I still think, third in the race. Had he started on the restart on the outside, though, he probably would have won. Another example, Chase Elliott had the best car in the 2018 Bristol night race. But because of where he restarted, he would end up finishing, I think, third in the race. If he restarts on the outside lane in row number 2, he probably goes on and wins the race since he had fresher tires at the time as well. I think the choose cone is a fantastic decision by NASCAR for this, and I'm glad they're trying this. I mean, the All-Star race is becoming this thing where they're bringing new gimmicks out and new things to try. I mean, 2018 they basically brought the full-on like restrictor plate package to the series. 2019 they brought something with the arrow, if I remember correctly. I can't remember what it was, like arrow ducks or like I can't remember what it was on the hood, like the arrow seal things. I don't remember. And this year they're trying some new gimmicks. I like they're trying new things. It's really, really cool. And I believe they're also still this year going to be trying something with the number placements, which again, I'm not as big a fan of the change with the number placements. It might look cool in some cars, others it's probably not going to look cool. But yeah, I'm really excited about this choose cone. I think it's going to be really exciting. So, anyway, that is all the NASCAR news that I had to catch up on for today. So, anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Turn notifications on so you can be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Links in the description below for that. And comment your thoughts on today's video. What do you think of the choose cone being implemented for the All-Star race? Do you like it or not? Let me know in the comments below. And what do you think of Jimmie Johnson possibly going over to Chip Ganassi Racing, possibly in the IndyCar series? Let me know in the comments below. So, anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I will see you guys next time for more awesome content here on the channel. Take care, everybody.